Yes, students, good morning. In the last videos, we have discussed about various traction systems, that is, various types of traction methods we have discussed in the last video, that is, direct steam engine system, IC engine system, track electrification, electric drives, various types of systems of tractions, what exactly it is and what are the merits of this and what are the demerits of this we have discussed in the previous session. So in this session we'll discuss about the another very important, the systems of track electrification. What are the different systems we are having in case of electric traction? So it's pertaining to electric traction. What we discussed in the previous videos, they are all pertaining to the general traction methods. But so in this session, so the systems of track electrification is nothing but we are discussing what are the different systems we are having for the electric traction drives. So the first one is direct current systems. So DC system, so direct current systems we can say, or DC systems. So in this DC, what happens, the DC series motors are used to obtain the required torque here, to obtain the required torque. So DC series motors are used here. Okay, then however in termways, trolley buses and compound generators are used. In case of termways, trolley buses, then compound generators are used. So the operating voltage of this compound machines is around 600 volts. So whereas at as a DC series motor operates at the voltage which will be varies between 1500 volts to 3000 volts, 1500 to 3000 volts. That's the operating voltage of this DC traction system. Then in suburban, generally the distance between two substations is around 30 to 40 kilometers. Okay, the substation is a converting stations that receives the AC power from the KEB or whatever the power distribution companies, and that will convert into DC using the converter, and then it is used. So here it is a DC current. So AC, which AC supply will be given, taken from the supply mains or from the power industries or power companies. So that is converted into DC from the converter, and that DC is used to run the motors. So that is called as a direct current systems. Okay, so next is single phase AC systems. So here what happens, the single phase AC voltage is used to run the motors here. So single phase AC voltage is used to run the motor, and the single phase AC series motors are used here. Single phase AC series motors are used, and the power supply is a single phase AC voltage is used here. So what happens, the electric power required to obtain from this distribution network of voltage around 15 kV to 3 k 15 kilovolts to 33 kV, and it is stepped down to 230 volts to 300 volts by transformer carried in the locomotives itself. There is a AC power which is drawn from the power supplying companies. So for around 15 kV to 33 kV, and they are stepped down to 230 volts to 300 volts by the transformer which are carried along with the locomotives itself. So that means there is a electric traction, there is a track. So above the track there is a electric line is running. So the power required for this locomotive is drawn from the overhead transmission line, so which is converted into the required power range, that is around 300 to 400, whatever the required range, and then it is used as for the run the motor. So as the voltage required is low, the substations are spaced around 50 to 80 kilometers apart. So there is a substations around 50 to 80 kilometers. There is a substations are there to look into the your power requirements. Okay, that is called as a single phase AC system. So single phase AC systems. So another is three phase AC system. So in these systems what happens, the locomotive, so the power required is obtained from the three phase induction motor operating at 33 to 3.3 to 3.6 kilovolts. So once again the overhead transmission lines, so the power required is drawn from that only. But in this case we are using a three phase motors, so the power is required three phase power which is also drawn from the overhead transmission line. The substations receives the power from the high voltage of 220 kilovolts to from the overhead transmission line, so which is stepped down to the required voltage range, and then it is used for the three phase motor. So three phase induction motors are used here as a as a mean for a locomotive for the transportation purpose here. Okay, so that's called as a three phase AC systems. So fourth is composite system. So composite system is nothing but it's a combination of, by combining the advantages of both AC, DC, three phase and single phase systems. So this type of composite systems are evolved, or it is comes into existence by combining the advantages of 3 AC, DC, three phase, single phase systems. So such type of systems are called as a composite systems. So the composite systems, so here the AC system is preferred from the distribution point of view. Thus AC can be converted into DC and use it to run the DC series motors. This is called as single phase AC to DC system. The single phase to three phase conversion can be done by making the locomotives to carry the three phase converters. So if you are using a converters in the locomotives itself, then we can composite system, it is once again the combination of AC, DC, three phase, single phase, many more. So that is called as a combination composite system. So in the generalized in the last class we have discussed the general traction systems. Next, this is systems of track electrification or the systems of electric traction. So one is DC system, AC system. So DC is once again one. So AC is, we have a single phase AC systems and three phase AC system, and then composite system. Composite systems comprising of the advantages of both AC and DC here. Okay, that's about the composite system. So next is the speed time curve. So the next point is speed time curve. So speed time curve is a graphical representation of an actual run of a train which includes, okay, which includes the constant acceleration, decreasing acceleration, the constant speed, free running speed, or the coasting, retardation, or due to braking. So speed time curve is nothing but, so it is a graphical representation to calculate the actual run of a train. Okay, so which is the combination of the acceleration period, then the coasting period, free running period, coasting and braking here. Acceleration, okay, which consisting of a constant acceleration, decreasing acceleration. Okay, so it's a graph which will be indicating the speed time curve. So I will define it. So speed time curve is a graphical representation of a actual run of a train, how much train is running. Okay, that is a graphically we are representation. So what all these consisting of, it consisting of the acceleration, okay, then free running, coasting, braking. So acceleration is nothing but, so initially the train is at the standstill. Once the supply is given, so it will be accelerated from the standstill condition. That period is called as a acceleration. Okay, so in next is the constant acceleration. Once the motor gets accelerated, it starts running, torque will be decreased and the speed will be increased. So that is called as a constant acceleration. So another part is next free running. So after the motor receives the sufficient amount of acceleration, so the continuously freely the motor is running. So that is called as a free running period. So coasting is nothing but electric train. So coasting or running with the power off. So in this case, once the free running, so once the stops are approaching, so the power to the motor is turned off, but the train is continued to move by the acceleration gained during these previous steps. So that period is called as a coasting period or running with the power off. Then brakes are applied to stop it, so that is called as a braking period. So now got it. So speed time curve is a graphical representation of an actual run of a train which includes the acceleration, constant acceleration, free running, coasting and braking. So the combination of all this will be the speed time curve here. Okay, so now constant acceleration, what happens, we'll discuss now. So during the period O to A, so this is just OA is nothing but this one, OAB, BC, CD, they are the different durations. So here what happens during OA, the traction motors are accelerated from the rest. So from O to A, what happens, initially traction motors are at the rest conditions and they are accelerated, and then current drawn by the motors and the tractive efforts are partially constant here. So this is called as a rheostatic acceleration or notching up of period. Next is decreasing accelerations. So next A to B. A to B is nothing but once the motors are started during the period A to B, the train continues to accelerate So there is a torque is gradually reduces and speed increases, as I said. Okay, the finally train attains to its maximum acceleration or maximum speed. Then third one is a constant speed or free running. So during this period what happens, b to c in the graph, you can see here the graph here, b to c in the graph. So what happens, which will be the maximum b to c, the train runs at the constant speed and will take a constant power also. So the maximum speed is attained during this particular period, that is called as a constant speed or free running period. So the coasting or running with the power of, at this time point c, the power to the motor is turned off or switched off. So during this period c and d, you can see here c and d, where it c and d. So here the brakes are applied, c and d, just a minute, brakes are applied. So then what happens, so sorry, brakes are, power to the motor is switched off. So during this period what happens, the train will continue to move from the without the power due to the momentum drawn from the previous stages. So no power drawn from the supply during this period. So the train is experiences the retardation during this period and called as, that called as a coasting retardation. Coasting period is nothing but it's a running with power off conditions. Then braking or retardation. So during this period d to e, the brakes are applied and the train is brought to the standstill condition at the point e. So they are called as a speed time curve. Speed time curve is a graphical representation to indicate the actual run of a train, which indicates the constant acceleration, decreasing acceleration, coasting period, then coasting or free running period, then braking period, okay, the retardation period. Okay, so these are the, if a combination of all these things will gives you a speed time curve. Okay, that's about the speed time curve. So the typical speed time curves of electric traction system we'll discuss now one by one. So typical speed time curves of this electric traction system. So the shape of the speed time curves depends upon the distance between the two stations. So shape of the two, that means some cases what happens, so the acceleration period will be more, some cases the free running period will be more, some cases the braking will be more. So the shape of the speed time curve is depends upon the distance between the stations, how much distance that the distance station is having. Based on that, the shape of the speed time curve is also varies. Okay, so the following are the typical speed time curves for the different services. So these speed time curves varies for the different service. So first one is city service, suburban service and the mainline service. Why it is divided into city, suburban, mainline service means, so the distance between, look at the distance between the two stops in case of city service. So the distance between the two stops are very much less in case of city service. So in case of suburban service, so it is bit far. So compared to city service, the distance between the two stops is bit more here. And the third one is the mainline service. Mainline service, what happens, the distance between two stops is very much far. Okay, so this based on the distance between two stops, the period of coasting, period of free running, period of acceleration, everything will be varies. So that is why the shape of the speed time curve is also depends upon the distance between the two stations. Okay, now we'll discuss what exactly city service, what exactly suburban service and mainline service. So city service, first is city service. So first is city service. So here cities, in the cities or in the urban services, the distance between the stations is around 0.5 to 1 kilometer. The distance between the two stations, from one station to other stations, around 0.5 to 1 kilometer, maximum to 2 kilometers. Okay, so that is called as a city services. So here what happens, the train must be accelerated and retarded at the higher rate. Okay, and there is no free running period here. So here coasting, that means this is a speed axis and the time axis. So here train is accelerated and then power is switched off. So the train is continue to be in the coasting period and then brakes are applied. That means there is no free running period here. So accelerated and turned off. So train is accelerated and the power is switched off. So it is in the coasting period. Once the brakes is applied, it will be in the braking period. That means so accelerated and the power to the motor is turned off. That's it. So only two: acceleration period, coasting period, and braking period. Three are there. So there is no free running period, there is no decreasing acceleration, or there is no increasing acceleration here. Okay, so here we have a acceleration period, coasting period, and braking period. Why? Because so the distance between the two stops is very much less, 1 to 2 kilometers though. So their trains are accelerated and the power is turned off. So whatever the acceleration gained here, so that will makes the train to run for some duration, that is called as a coasting period, that is running with power off conditions, that is called as a coasting. Then brakes are applied, the train will becomes to standstill condition. So that is called as a city services. So next is suburban service. The distance between the two stops is around 3 to 8 kilometers. So suburban services, what happens, the distance between this is 8 kilometers, 3 to 8 kilometers. See here, this is also looks similar to that of this also looks to similar to that of your city service only. But what happens here also, so the train is accelerated and the power supply is turned off, but the brakes are applied bit later here. Why? Because in the previous case, so coasting period is less, so train is accelerated, power to the motor is turned off, and the brakes are applied immediately. Okay, but in this case the train is accelerated, so power is turned off and the brakes are not applied immediately. So after some times the brakes are applied. So why? Because the distance between the two stops are higher, so to stop it at the particular stops, so that is made. Okay, so that is called as a suburban service. So here the distance around 3 to 8 kilometers and the speed time curve is similar to that of the city service, except the coasting period here. Okay, so here the coasting period is more then the distance between the stations is also more. So if the coasting period is more, then the distance between the stations is also more. However, there is no free running period in this category. Free running period is absent in both the cases, city service as well as in case of mainline service. There is a absence of free running period. Okay, the acceleration and retardation values are almost same in case of city service. So then is mainline service. So here is the distance between the two stations is around 10 kilometers, more than 10 kilometers, 20, 50. It is based on the stations. So distance is very much high, more than 10 kilometers, 20, 50, whatever it is. The speed time curve is similar to that of as explained in the earlier. That means the speed time, so it's a suburban service speed time curve, it's a city service speed time curve, and the mainline service speed time curve is this one. So this is the mainline service speed time curve. So here the distance between the stations is higher, more than 10 kilometers. It may be 10, 20, 50, whatever. So it consisting of all the this one. So it consisting of increasing acceleration, decreasing acceleration, free running, coasting, braking. That means the trains are accelerated, then still the decreasing acceleration. That means acceleration is increases and the speed increases, decreases, speed increases. I mean torque, acceleration increases, I mean torque is decreases, speed increases. Then we have a free running period. Free running period is nothing but, so the train will runs at the maximum speed. Okay, train is attains at free running period, the maximum speed the train is attaining. So that is called as a free running period. So after that, when we are approaching towards the station B, then the power to the motors are turned off. So then this still the train is continued to run from the power which is from the acceleration drawn from these three steps, still the continue to run. So once it is train is approaching towards the stations, the brakes are applied and the train is brought to standstill conditions. So here, as the distance between two stops is very much higher, so this mainline service consisting of acceleration, decreasing acceleration, free running, coasting, braking, all this period. Okay, but whereas in the city service and mainline service, what happens? So they are accelerated and the power is turned off. Here see, accelerated, power is turned off, brakes are applied. Here what happens? So accelerated and power is turned off and waited for some times and then brakes are applied. Why? Because the distance is higher than the city services. So based on the type of based on the distance between the two stations, the speed time curve is also varies. Okay, so that's about different this one. Next, few of the terminologies or definitions related to this traction drives. So one is a crest speed, Crest speed is nothing but it is the maximum or a higher speed attained by the train during its running. So whenever it is running, whatever the maximum speed which is attained, okay, so by the train is called as a crest speed, okay, or maximum speed, okay. Then average speed, it is the mean or an average speed maintained by the train during a run. So mean of a speed or an average speed which is maintained by a train during its run from one A to B, so they are called as the average speed. So average speed is once again the ratio of distance between the stops in kilometer divided by the exact time of run in hours. So distance between the stops in kilometer divided by exact time of run in terms of hours. So that is called as a average speed. So then is scheduled speed. Scheduled speed is nothing but it is the ratio of the distance between the stops in kilometer, ratio of the distance between the stops in kilometers and the total time taken inclusive of the time of stop. So it is including time of stop here. So scheduled speed is nothing but distance between the two stops. Scheduled speed is the distance between the stops divided by time taken plus time of stops. So time taken including the time of stop, that means we are stopping for few minutes at the each stations. So the time taken to recover the entire distance including the time of stop, that is a scheduled speed. The scheduled speed is once again the speed of a train depends upon the crest speed, acceleration, braking retardation, duration of the stop, and many more things, okay. So these are the very important definitions which will be definitely helpful in the next upcoming videos, okay. So we have some derivations here. So the trapezoidal speed time curve and quadrilateral speed time curve, we have a few of the derivations. So the derivations on the speed time curves we will take up in the next session, okay. So thank you.